I only needed the Brooks to complete the refurbishing of my 1974 Schwinn Super Sport. I waited a long time hoping for a sale but eventually spent the money. It came as stated and included the first application of the proofing it needs. I am completely satisfied. Some say it requires a long breaking-in period, but I haven't noticed it. It was comfortable to me immediately. It's a very good return. I recommend it. The delivery is fast. Excellent saddle, comfortable right out of the box on my Brompton. Update: love this saddle. My sit bones have settled in nicely and I can put on the miles without pain. People either love or hate these, usually not much in between. My wife and I can do week-long rides, 2 years of RAGBRAI, and it's way more comfortable than the stock saddles that were on our treks. My original point still stands: no saddle feels good after a week of riding, but on day 7, first thing in the morning when you sit on this you will not groan in pain. I don't even think about the saddle anymore, whereas before I loathed getting back on the day after a long ride. Also, bikes just look great rocking the vintage brown on brown, in my humble opinion. To each their own. Original review: this is not the most comfortable saddle you will ever own. However, after 5 hours, they all hurt. Soft ones will leave you with chafing, and hard ones will make you fear your bike the next day. This is a great in-between. Once you break in the saddle, and build a tolerance for long rides, this will feel like a dream. Numb legs and butt cheeks you will not have. Still looks like it did the day I bought it, even though I sweated all over the thing. Turns heads, looks amazing on my blue Trek road bike. Best looking saddle emo. I have been using Brooks saddles on all my bike for a long time. They always live up to their name. If you are looking for a saddle that will be with you for a lifetime, look no further. One very fantastic, comfortable, beautiful leather saddle. Got 800 miles on it so far. It has become more and more comfortable. I ride 6,000 miles a year. My bike is my car. That must have a great seat. Note: you must run fenders and cover when it rains to keep these saddles. Looks great. So far so good. I did a bit of research first and it's my first Brooks saddle. It's gonna hurt a bit at first but that goes away. Can't wait for the years of riding. I've had this saddle for over a year now, and I gotta say it feels great. Takes some time to break in depending on your weight. And yes, it's expensive, but think about it, don't need to replace it. I first bought a Team Pro Imperial, honey brown, a couple of months ago to replace another saddle I had been using on my Cannondale 1000 road bike. It felt great from the first time I rode using it. I treated it per the instructions before installing it on my bike. With some bar tape to match, it has a great vintage look and is very comfortable. My second ride with it was a mountainous metric Century and I finished it with absolutely no discomfort from the saddle. I have been rebuilding an old touring bike and needed a saddle for it. Since the Team Pro worked so well, I decided to order another Brooks saddle. My only fault, sort of, with the Team Pro is that there are no eyelets nor other good way to tie a tool bag to the seat. So, I ordered a B17 Imperial in standard width and brown color. Dimensions are very similar to the Team Pro, but the frame has eyelets for my tool bag. One of the first things that I noticed is that the leather on the B17 is noticeably thinner than the leather on the Team Pro. That makes the seat a bit more flexible and I guess it will be broken in a bit quicker than the other saddle. As with the first saddle, it was comfortable from the first time I sat on it. That makes the break-in time a non-issue for me. I am very pleased with both of my Brooks saddles. They are a bit more comfortable for me than the men's anatomic saddles that I had been using previously. There have been no perineal issues for me, which can make a huge difference in whether a saddle works for long hours on the bike or not. I would not hesitate to buy another one in the future. So comfy. My butt loves it. I pretty much only get the B17 copper these days. If you spend hours a week in the saddle, why not spend those hours on the best saddle? I heard good things about some of the other ones, but I am a larger rider and the B17 just fits great after a couple rides. It fits amazing after a couple weeks. Surprisingly comfortable saddle with old school technology. Looks great. I like all of the Brooks England. My Brooks saddle B17 standard is very beautiful. Thank you, Brooks England. Love it. Has been a great addition to my Raleigh bicycle. Also added the matching bar handle tape. After reading some of the reviews about having to ride a few hundred miles before breaking in, the seat warranted me from getting one. My seat that I was using was pretty hard, as most road bike seats are, so I went ahead and got one. Click link in description for more reviews.